Hi, everybody. Let's talk predictions for 2025. I'm really excited actually to share a lot of information. I have a lot of information to share actually, and this is actually going to be pretty important. It's going to be a little long of a YouTube video, but we have a lot to cover. And so I want to share with you a few things. If you need to reach me for a reading, it's psychicmediumkelle.com so I can read for you and give you predictions actually for your next year. The other component is I want to just share, reflect on a few things that I said last year that actually happened. I actually predicted back in my January predictions about President Trump winning the election. I predicted the storms that would have occurred in Florida and also in North Carolina. I also did predictions that occurred for October 7th when Israel and Hamas had war and terrorism when that occurred. So, you know what? Spirit always guides us so that we can get a path, right? To look at things, change things, go in a different path, direction. So predictions are always fun, always interesting when Spirit gives them to me because they do. And I'm sharing them with you today. So in this process, let's just sit back and listen and see what we get. Whether you agree, not agree, what have you, I just give what I get. We are also in this video going to go we're going to go backwards to go forward. So Spirit has given me a lot of dates, times, those kind of things so that we can see exactly in comparisons to what we learned from before and what's going to happen ahead. So I guess just sit back for the ride, listen, and I hope you enjoy these predictions and see what they receive from me as a conduit to give them to you, okay? And let's go. So let me just say this. The next coming year actually is going to be a big old regrowth year. And for all of us, there's a lot of profound changes in American politics, world leadership. The economy is going to have some dips in parts, but overall, you know what? We're gonna be good in some investments here, which is great. Always good to hear that, right? In our economics for our future. But Spirit keeps showing me the year 1970, which is always funny to me. Remember, we go backwards to go forward. And in 1970, we're going to look at a lot of similarities of what this year is going to bring. So when we go back to 1970, what does everybody remember here in America? Watergate, right? And with President Nixon and Watergate. So what will be big in 2025? A lot of gateways of truth, right? So we are going to see so much come spring, truths about what's happened in the past years. I will go back all the way to COVID, vaccine injuries, January 6th, fraud, human trafficking, border bias, buyouts, all right? Spirit says, you know, there's going to be a lot of information that's going to be revealed I even go back to the 1960s in information they've shown me, going into directions on things that we thought were true aren't. And now we got to move on because we know the truth. So there's going to be a lot of that this year. So, you know, kind of a lot of mouth drop moments. So all I can say is this. The players who have been deceitful, all right, I don't think they're going to sleep so well. I think there's going to be a lot of truth-telling in not just America, but in many countries in leadership, right? So it was very interesting. I did these predictions over a week ago, and I actually talked about Prime Minister Trudeau in Canada and what was going to happen with him and how that country is actually going to be really reevaluating on who their leadership is. And look what's happened so far. You know, his second in command to the Prime Minister, she stepped down. There's a lot of he's in some trouble. He's one of these people that I'm talking about when we talk about leadership and different people and dynamics. Presidents, prime ministers, what they're involved with, what they're doing, how they led countries, what they were about. Those kind of things are shaken away. And you know what? That's okay. Because, you know, we need truth. We need honesty in this world. So pay attention to that. Pay attention to a lot of world events like this. everybody's going to have to go into this year with their eyes wide open. And I say that because a lot of you, like I said before, your mouth is going to drop on many events, on things that you're going to hear, know, be open to hear. Shouldn't be any surprise. Now remember, there's many people who are calling the year of 26-27 energetically the golden years. Very much so about, wow, it's great to be alive at this time. Look what's happened. All this technology, all this growth, everything is going to be coming into our world that we're going to be a part of, and we're so lucky. New discoveries, discovery, all put into place, which is beautiful. But we're in 2025, which means there's going to be a lot of readjustment. We're in a readjustment year, so we can get to those golden timings of 26, 27. So what happens with that? We always have to kind of weed out of stuff, and you have to be open to that, because there's going to be gigantic weeding out actually in this year, and it needs to happen. It's going to happen in your own personal lives too. It's not just going to be world events, because what the energy is right in 2025, right, is exactly, you know what I mean, what will happen in your own personal life, right? And that is just it, and that's good. So be open to change things and change patterns, because that's what the world is really up against right now and what we're up to. So that is what 2025 energy is. So we got to get to that harmonious state, 26, 27, right? But we're gonna get there too this year too. I'm not being all doom and gloom, but we're gonna have some changes happen. So be open to change. So what we're also going to be discovering in 2025 is a lot of truths. So, you know, it's going to be kind of gossipy, actually. You know what I mean? Of things that we're going to find out, and what we knew and what didn't know, but in the sense of, it's not going to be real. It's not going to be gossip. It's going to be truth. So, just a lot of events occurring after each other is what I'm trying to say to you. So it's fascinating when we look at Vedic astrology, right? And we look at the people who have looked at charts and looked at the dynamics. A lot of things add up to 7 transits. Now, in 7 degrees. So think, what did I just say? Spirit gave me, you know what I mean? Pay attention to 1970, another 7. All right? What happens in 7 energies? You know what? We look at work, movement, healing energies, building block times, foundations, investigations, kinetic shifts, nuclear stuff, oil, atomic stuff. You know what I mean? That's what 7 means, right? Now we go back into what 2025 is in numerology. So how do we do numerology? We add up the numbers across, right? Which equals a 9. So take 2025, add that across those numbers, it equals 9. What does that year mean? 9 energy is also about ending cycles, ending, that starting new beginnings, preparing yourself for the new beginnings, conclusions, finding the truth, you know what I mean? Answers, prepare yourself for those kind of answers, for the new beginnings to happen. 9 years are always ending years. Okay, they always end something, so a new beginning can happen in numerology. So we have all the 7 energy that we just talked about. We have 9 energy, which is what 2025 adds up in numerology. So that's pretty significant, right? So now let's get on to what some of the things I've been seeing from Spirit and what they've given me. Remember, in 1970, now we're going to go a lot of backwards forward, so we're going to be a teaching moment here. We had the NEPA was brought in, right? They made an amendment to have this in new law. And so National Environmental Policy Act. So the EPA, basically. So now, what's going to happen this year? That's 1970 is when that was founded. We have Robert Kennedy coming on board, right? Okay. And he's really involved now in wanting to change and be a part of this path with President Trump on looking at the EPA, looking at, how we grow our food, how to change things, looking at medicines, looking at, all of this to change. So he is going to really rock the world, let me tell you, on discovery, discovering information, what's occurred, what's transpired. He's going to be a big player when it comes into looking at the how things are run. Okay, this is a big thing right now. Every country's going to look on things on how they're run and how we're going to need to, change things up so we don't have to be in these positions anymore. So pay attention to how the world's going to change and what we put in our foods, toxic chemicals, different things like that. We're going to see the EPA, the FDA change here in the United States. Good, because who doesn't want clean food? Everyone does. Clean air, all those good things that we need to change in our environment for our earth. So it's a year of discovery, most definitely, when we go into for health. So really 3 points I want to point up. I was drawn into the lymph symptom. I can't talk anymore. Lymph symptoms system is what I'm trying to say. Sorry. And this is where we're going to look at that on how cancers are caused. We're really good people. There's some breakthroughs that are coming in with autoimmune disorders. What happens within our bodies and how we need to look at that for cures, right? Oh gosh, huge timing on all of this. So pay attention to some of those type of cancer discoveries that deals with those issues. I also want to pay attention to eye diseases and new discoveries with that. Vision, how we change our vision, and how we heal our eyes. Okay, it's going to be really big in discovery. And I also go into skin healing, those type of diseases, on how do we heal those things. New discoveries coming about. That's going to be a big part of what we're going to learn, right? With how our things go forward. We're also going to go back into new types of therapies. Holy wow is what I'm saying. Light therapies, energetic therapies, electrical current therapies, all these type of ingredients to make common sense healing occur. New waves of that, right? And ionic waves is what Spirit keeps giving me, and how to heal our bodies within that. Literally, like, okay, go sit in a tube and be healed. That's what I'm kind of like getting. All right. Love that. All right. Because who doesn't want to be healed? And who wants to go through all those crazy cancer treatments and all those toxins in your body? No one. Okay. Are they really working? Question mark, question mark, question mark. That's what I'm getting. So this is where I want to say, watch the discovery, okay, of how we're going to heal humanity and be in a different space like that. So now I want everybody to look up. We're looking up to the sky, all right? Because watch how we are going to change in science and things that are going to occur within space, all right? We've been looking up a lot these past days with drones, haven't we, right? Around the world and drones in 2024. But we're going to be doing this even more because think about 1970, Apollo 13 launched, right? We're going to do a lot of launching. Okay, and we're going to thank Elon Musk for that, and other people and companies and countries really getting into science and discovery in space, and how we're going to use this energy and how we're going to participate with it. And so pay attention to a lot of space discovery is what I want to say. Now we're going to get into 1970. What was really big then? Oil. What's going to be really big this year in 2025? Oil. We're going to talk a lot about oil. We're going to talk about oil and how we're going to find oil, how countries are going to reserve their oil in discovery, how certain countries are going to be maybe restrictive oil. I go into Germany getting restricted with that, with Russia. I see pipelines being discussed a lot. I'm also I'm drawn into Alaska, Mexico, Canada, Russia, also looking at those pipelines, all right? Some countries being stingy, okay, with giving that oil out for others, high prices in that. I'm also going into pipelines, right? I want to be really cautious on those countries, all right, on damage to some pipelines. And also going, could that be on purpose, or is there a natural disaster to create that, okay? Pay attention in that summertime event, in the summertime time frames and on those things. So I really get a little more concerned on our oceans, and in wildlife, actually, that there can't be maybe an oil spill that can occur that can damage those areas. So I also want to tap in a little bit into the airline industry, right? I see 4 mergers happening. Actually, I've been given like Virgin Airline has shown maybe there could be a merger there. I finally think Spirit Airlines gets picked up. All right, here, and and this is their year to merge with somebody. So, and I also want to say this: people might get tired of big conglomerates of air travel, and I think there's going to be a new surge of actually private jets, where it's going to become more affordable for people to rent a jet and go travel that way. So pay attention to that more. I also was shown, and this is kind of funny, I go back into 1970, right? Remember Mattel toys? I think of Barbie in the 1970s, all right? I see that company as being a big comeback. Cool toys, hip video games they're going to run children's games, parents playing them too, old games coming back that we all used to play with. Hey, maybe Skipper finally comes of age and she's going to be able to drive a pink car and in a video game. I don't know. But I'm just seeing like this big pull of like old-fashioned toys becoming video games, more cleaner, not guts and violence and that kind of stuff. I just see more and more of that kind of fun coming back, right? People kind of going old school with toys, that kind of stuff. They're still learning, but you know what I mean? Really, really that way. More integrated is what I want to say. Now I go into some more fun, right? Okay, remember how in the 1970s disco was huge, right? Studio 54, everybody dancing disco. Who didn't love to dance? Still does. I'm actually was shown like dance halls being a big thing. Line dancing, people coming together like that. Almost like kind of like, a World War, after the World War, II, people would go to dance halls to dance and meet people. People are going to be so tired of online dating. Ugh, this is what's going to be a big pulse. No one wants to do that anymore. All right, they want to see real people, be a part of that, touch, see people, talk to people, not being on an online basis. I think that's going to kind of dip because people are tired with that gig. So pay attention to people communing, meeting people in groups in dance halls or events or those kind of things. So get ready for that. I'm also seeing huge inventions. We are going to be coming into a world in the next 3 or 4 years where we're going to be like, holy cow, look how we're doing things today. So pay attention to technologies. Robotics is huge. Supply chain processes are huge. I also want to say to you, there's also going to be big competition with AI services. On new codes being developed, which is, I kept saying codes being developed, new languages being developed in businesses. So those kind of businesses are going to be, very big. And you're going to see some of the companies that we always talk about today, the bigger names, kind of fall off. They're going to be there, but they're going to fall off a little bit because these new businesses are going to be coming in and say, move over, where it's about us now. Okay, so that's kind of neat. Now I'm going to go into Elon Musk, right? So everybody likes to talk about him. I will say he's going to be in everyone's words this year. He has a lot of communication happening around him. He's, personally, professionally. He is so Tesla-like. I swear to God, before that guy came down here on Earth, he talked to Tesla and said, hey, listen, Tesla said, you're going to do this, you're going to do this, you're going to do this before you come down. So I truly feel he's got that Tesla energy to him. So you're going to see Elon making a lot of deals in 2025. You're going to see him communicating a lot with a lot of different structures, a lot of new businesses, different things like that. It's going to be a lot of firsts for him, all right? First discovering this, first discovering that. First time he's done this, it's successful. Okay, see, I just keep getting that all around Elon. And remember I talked about healing and current, and this awesome new space we're going to be in for all of these energetics. He's going to be a part of that. So, and it's going to be really good. I really want to pay attention to this. It's extremely important that, and I do feel this, there's going to be a lot. He'll also have this piece to him, this other part of discovering role of in corruption. So there'll be a powerful lead around him, okay, with things that he's going to be sharing or information shared. And I want to pay attention into this space. I go into April, and I go March, April, May, around this timing. All right. So he really truly has this space like Tesla. He has a humanitarian space to him, like Tesla did. And where, remember, Nikola Tesla wanted to make energy free, right? So this is where we're going to see, and no, other people had ideas for all this profit that had to be made from it. So pay attention to how his world works, which is interesting. Food costs, we're going to go into that. They're going to start coming down. We might have some supply chain issues happening, but I want to talk about the farm industry, because the farm industry is going to be giving lots of tax credits and different things like this, so they can farm cleaner. Clean food is what we're going to see in this process that's taking us into the next few years. So pay attention to all that good stuff. There will be also, too, I'm going into American politics. I'm going into a lot of different tax credits from the Trump administration that is going to take place, which again is going to take us into this 26, 27 golden year where things are going to settle down, profits, wealth, a lot of good stuff happening in this space. So pay attention to new tax codes that are going to start and be in this process presented, okay, to get us there. Everyone's going to have a lot of jingle in their pocket come 26, 27, all right? Remember that. So that's what I'm gathering. I feel also, too, we're going to go into more kind of conservative energy around the world, conservative values versus, opposite of that, and more of a liberalism. That things are changing, all right? You'll see a big shift in this, because I don't think people are going to say, oh, maybe that didn't work so well. So we want to go into different values with this. So now we're going to get into some of the stuff that we don't like to talk about, but we're going to talk about it anyways. Because again, this is a 2025, we're talking about truths, right? Letting the truths or what we see come out. So just like in 1970, we had senseless Vietnam War. The United States lost 58,000 young men and women in that war. We all know war is never the answer, but wars happen. So we will see two things happening in what I'm getting from Spirit. We're still going to see the Russia-Ukraine conflict. We're still going to see the Israel-Hamas conflict that is occurring, right? But we're also coming into space of, June through August is what I want to talk about. We could actually end up seeing some country trying to really test the waters and not play nice in the sandbox. In other words, I'm going to throw some sand in your eyes, and too bad, right? Just like we used to train our children when you play in the sandbox, we don't throw sand. We play and make sand castles, right? And we play nice. Unfortunately, I feel like I want to go into a Middle Eastern country that might do that, and I'm not too pleased with that. Nobody will be. And so I do feel if there is a conflict and people come to say, no, we don't throw sand, then it's short-lived. So I almost go like it's like the Gulf War scenario. It lasts a short amount of time. We get through it, and then we come out, through September, all right, and into that last quarter, where again, this new coming up together, this peace treaty, this peacefulness that we got to take into as a world going into 26 happens. So you know what? That's why I'm gathering in that timing. So yeah, we don't want anything to happen. We want to prevent it. Pray different. Look at the world differently. Okay, everybody just stay calm. The other thing I do see, I want to talk about President Trump. Remember, I predicted his win in January of 2027. Or I'm sorry, 2027? Really? Well, I'm going all the way out there because he's still going to be here into the next 4 years. So to squelch everybody's thought process, will he finish a term? Yes. Will I also get into, will he be inaugurated? I do get that too. Will on January 20th, will there be protesting? Will there be people pissed, angry? Absolutely. And possibly that inauguration may take place indoors instead of outdoors is what I'm feeling too. Just for increased security and safety. So I do want to talk about him though. I do want him, if he was listening to this, I'd say, buddy, you better increase your security and dynamics around you, especially March all the way into May. And I got pegged actually on May 8th for something very significant around President Trump that could happen with him. But I also want to say, if there is any type of attempt on his life, like there has been twice already, he'll survive it. And so, again, I see him in this path, going into the next few years, obviously, with our with taking us into this golden age of the world that many people are taught. I have mentioned that in those terms. My friend Joni Petrie has mentioned this, and she's a world-renowned Vedic astrologer. So, not just in the United States, all right. Like in the 1960s, in the in that pocket, you know what I mean, and into 1970, there were a lot of assassinations. I don't know, people want to kill people off. I hate even saying that. We want to say, hopefully it doesn't happen. But I want people to be safe, right? So this also goes to prime ministers, presidents of countries, you know what I mean? People who lead countries. Be safe. Be smart with your security. That's all, okay? As I go into Canada, Germany, France, Norway, very much so, I see like Humpty Dumpty falling down, all right? And I see this space where you could see some financial crises, especially in the summer months. We talked about Justin Trudeau. His chart looks terrible. And it could be a big trial around him, is what I'm seeing. Now I'm going to go into Zelensky and Ukraine, right? So the ATM machine doesn't work anymore for him. So that you're going to see a big change in that dynamic. I don't feel like a lot of funding anymore for him in his country. And there could also be some leadership change that occurs in Ukraine for 2025. Now we're going to go into the media. Love the media. Media can work for you. We love the media. Okay. But media is going to be changing because it's going to become more conservative. It's going to be just like in 1970. Who did we have as a huge player? Walter Cronkite, right? And so we're going to see media is going to have to be truthful. They're not going to be paid out to say this. Lie, lie, lie. We're not going to have that anymore. You know what? The truth is the truth and stick to it, right? So this is what I'm seeing, media changes. New media companies coming about. Companies being bought this year in media. I'm loving it. Like, you know what I mean? To follow that, what's going to happen with that. Like, people want to know truth. They're going to demand the truth. They're going to be like, oh, don't be lying to me. Remember we talked about before? All of these untruths, things that have been told to the nation, to the world, on how that's going to be affected. And we're going to find out dynamics. Well, we're only going to have that change when the media changes. And I think there's a part of them, to be honest with you, they're going to want that. They want to be true journalists. They want to be in that discovery. They want to really tell, their wares, not be said, oh, no, you can only say this. Oh, no, we're changing this detail. Oh, no, we're going to take it over here. It's just a tiny, tiny little smidgen lie. Well, a lie's a lie. All right. So that's what I'm gathering. So you're going to see the right for the world to know the true facts. That's what 2025 is going to be. So you're going to see so much information that's going to come back about human trafficking, legislations, changing countries. I'll be exposed all about this. Evil exposed, things that people were doing. No, not good. You're going to see the music industry, the movie industry change. What's gone on there? All right. Now we're going to go into P. Diddy, right? Okay, because that's always a big one around everything. We're also going to see, you know what? We know what happens when a canary sings. And we also know what happens to a canary when they go down into the coal mines. Say no more. So his summertime, July, August, looks very tough around him in his chart. And you're going to, so you know what? That's the kind of dynamics you're going to see. Storms. All right. We want to look at, we're going to have storms like I had predicted before, storms and cycles that have occurred this last year, and the timings of that were accurate. Our hurricane season is going to be really tough again. We want to figure out actually some discovery on why these storms are happening. That'll be big. We're also going to look at our waterways, right? So I'm looking into Gulf of Mexico. I want to pay attention to there. I got the Baltic Sea, Atlantic Oceans. I also end up in Africa, actually, on seas. And I want to pay attention to storms being affected by waterways, okay, where we get our food supplies in and out, right? And we want to pay attention to September around the 16th. And I also get the first week around October for those timings. And I also want to say I want to go into Port Japan. Pay attention. You're going to get some earthquakes. I get one in April, and I get two back to back actually coming into the summer months around that area. So and then I go into a tsunami that could occur from that going out. Our poor ocean floors are going to be rocking and rolling, which then what happens? I always get concerned about ocean life and what can occur, and that could be where I'm picking up oil spills or rigs being taken down based to do some earth events, I say plural. All right. So we want to really look into that, right? Okay, or be prepared for that. Some countries that I feel like are going to go through some really rough financial times. I'm going to call out Australia, Canada, England, India, Germany, France. Much of this will be having to do with illegal immigrations and overcrowdedness, and now how do we pay for the different things? So we're going to see that. Overtaxing the people, how things were managed, the finances, where this was going from I'm going to go back last 7 to 8 years, okay? It's been about 8 years to when we're going to find out issues and things were happening. And then we go into the pandemic and what happened there. And then we go into where we're at now and what we're going to do with this now. So this is where we're going. So you're going to see these countries, those kind of financial hardships on the horizon. And when that happens, what I'm also seeing in those countries, pay attention to protests, citizens rebelling, getting mad, a lot of tempers there. I want to be careful, just like when I predicted on October 7th, Hamas attacking Israel. And you can see that in my fall blog that I did actually on September 11th of last year in my website. So can this kind of things happen again? They will. All right. So again, are people going to play nice in that sandbox? No. So enough already. I do feel like there's, sadly, I feel like there's some events going to be taking place around that. Some will be successful. and trying to create destruction on humans, and some won't. But I do get that as a component. Now let's get into, some celebrity things. I'm picking up actually, sadly, unfortunately, King Charles is really in ill health. And so isn't his wife, really going to be in tough shape. So I feel like pay attention to those two names in the media a lot. And I also believe that, Harry's going to get divorced in 2025. So I'm seeing that. But I do get concerned that, I go into, especially around February, and I go into June timeframe around the royal family for a lot of health disruptions. Let's see, what else are we going to say? I really go into the aspect of the beginning quarter of the year, all right, and then I go into the last quarter of the year is some really great financial timings of things. I think things will stay steady, Eddie. We're going to see some dips, though. I mean, reality is we're in this changing year, which is going to change things out to make things new. So, you know what? But I feel like things will be short-lived, and who wouldn't be happy about that? But again, I go into real estate also. So I go into the real estate market, dipping, adjusting, changing. October has some good timing if you're going to purchase. I'm also going into the home market. But remember, there's more of a market share that's going to happen come 2026, where I think there's things going to be more affordable. Things are going to readjust. So first-time home buyers will be able to afford. People can afford. Remember, we've gone into this housing crisis, haven't we, by all these people coming into countries. So that will be addressed, right? How we're going to deal with that. This price gouging is going to come down, all right? Good. It needs to. Everybody should, if they want a house, should be able to have a home, etc. So I think you're going to see a lot of differences in that marketplace when it comes to real estate. On a fun thing, I do think in the Super Bowl, I see the Detroit Lions as the winner chicken dinner. So we'll see if that happens. So remember, this year is going to be significantly about a lot of wealth of investigations, truths being shared to the world. Economics will be a building year, okay? And we're also going to see a lot of analysis on how to do things differently, right? Truly a unity will happen at the end of this year in this world to make us come into this awesome 2026-27. Also, I'm not just 27, I'm going to go all the way to 28 in this process. So the next 3 years, all right? So we have to become into our spiritual beings as humans and who we are, how we behave, right? Yes, there will be challenges with things, but I also feel that we're really going to bloom, and countries are going to re-bloom. Okay, if we can say the word, is there a re-blooming word? But I'm going to say it. This is 2025. We're going to re-bloom. No one is allowed to be a hermit this year. Everybody get out, do your bits, actually bring what you are trying to make happen so we can grow it into this beautiful space of what we're going into. And what we are now, we're in it now, okay? So it started to bloom. This year is about tying up the loose ends so we can get finished and done with things. So be prepared for some challenges, you know what I mean, that I'm gathering here and there. You know what I mean? March through August is really what I feel. But I want to say to you, it's really important to remember what I see in predictions for the world and for events and dynamics. Remember, I'm seeing those in you too. So this is all about you changing, going directions, following these leads, you know what I mean? And you know what? Bring it all together, which is perfect. And I think this is where, some really cool things are going to happen this year, this discovery year, and how we're going to change it all and what's going to happen. And as I conclude with this, I'm just going to pull a card and see what Spirit's going to give us about this year. All right. So, but I really feel like, everyone is going to have some really good opportunities to grow. And I'm happy for that. I'm really excited about this year. I don't know about you guys, but Even though we're going to have some maybe difficult challenges, remember things will be short-lived, but the truth comes out and things are known, and that's healthy for all of us. All right? Oh, I love this. Okay, this is what came. We're dreaming big. So we're dreaming big. So let go of all small thoughts. Let go of all small thoughts. See yourself succeeding. You know what I mean? This is you. And this is what Spirit wants to confirm as our last little bit here. We're going to dream big to make all these dreams occur. I hope that helps you. Much happiness for the new year in 2025. If you need to reach me, it's psychicmediumkelly.com, and I'd be happy to read for you and connect for you with Spirit. God bless, and let's roll.